March 3rd. This is a meeting of the Acushnet Lake Street Improvement Committee. Is there a motion to call the meeting to order?
Motion.
Could I have a second, please?
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you. Unfortunately, we've had a little bit of a technical glitch with the scheduling, where there's some misinformation put on the agenda. But I would like to go forward with opening the meeting, having a brief discussion. We will then close the meeting and try to adjourn, rejoin at 7, if that's okay. Scott and Brian, unfortunately, I have a work commitment, so I won't be part of that portion. But first things first, I would like to get us, now that Amanda is here, get us on a regular meeting schedule. And if it's okay with you, gentlemen, I am thinking starting on March 18th at 6 o'clock, we go on a every other week basis. So it would be the 18th, the 1st, the 15th, 29th, so on and so forth, if that's okay with you, gentlemen.
Yeah, I'll do my best to get on. I have some things with the New Bedford Police scheduled a couple of those days, but whenever I can, I certainly will be.
Look, we've got a big enough committee, and at some point we'll have to, we'll figure out the configuration. We've got so many folks involved. I think we might want to see how we whittle it down. But if that's okay, we'll start with that. Is there a motion to set a schedule starting March 18th and then every other week from that point on until we get to a point where things are really moving in the right direction?
Yeah, motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Great. Amanda, if you could, we'll make sure we put this on the future agendas. We'll delineate the upcoming meetings. And one of the other things is, as we discussed, we'll want to make sure that we have the Zoom link attached to the, embedded in the agenda moving forward. So what we intended to do tonight is to provide, again, one last look or discussion about Tom Davis Pond and then the North Pond. If you guys could communicate. So the last time we discussed, I think we had some consensus that the Tom Davis Pond really is more an aesthetical, more for aesthetics, to clean that up, while well-intentioned to maybe look at it as a skating pond down the road, given the proximity to the road, forcing people to cross the street. I think it just makes sense at this point to just look at ways that we can clean up the algae over there to make it look good. See about drainage to make sure that the water's flowing properly. We don't want stagnant water. If there's anything that we can do in the way of some plantings or things along the side of the road to clean that area up, appropriate signage talking about the history of that pond, and if like a golf course would have maybe a fountain to keep the water moving and keep it from being stagnant. I think Scott, you were on that last meeting. I think it's really as clear cut as that, right?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward with what we intend to do with that pond.
I think it just needs, like I said, a little bit of aesthetics. Maybe there's some native species, or we could put pea stone along the dirt, the dirt there, just to make it look better. Maybe it's guardrails. And so if the committee's, if you're okay with that, then Amanda, let's take those notes down. We'll have a motion to recommend that to the larger group later this evening, if that's okay.
Yep, makes sense. Motion.
Scott, is there a second, please?
Yes, there is a second.
Great. All those in favor?
Aye.
Great. Moving over across the street to the North Pond, this one, I think at the last meeting, the group really talked about that serving as the primary recreational, like some really interesting activity going over there in the way of canoe or kayak launches, having appropriate signage, cleaning up the area along the shore, and then looking long-term as to how we might be able to maybe put some walking trails along the shore, but I think for phase one of this, phase one, to just really focus on some of the basics there, which would be the canoe launches or boat launches, however you want to do it. Like really put some intentional area there, and then some signage about the depth of the water there, and then some signage about species and so on and so forth. But again, if the group has other ideas, I think phase one of this would be, let's just do some basic improvements there to enhance the activity, and then we can shoot long term for walking trails and things of that, because that's going to require some filings, and I'd hate to have that get in the way of making some immediate progress over there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think to your point, the more you start to just do things so that people begin to use it more, the more people are going to be excited about the potential. So yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Okay. All right, so I guess we'll have a motion to recommend to the larger group that we focus primarily on some, kayak, or whatever you want to call them, boating launches, some launches. Again, aesthetic improvements along the shoreline, and look for ways to provide an immediate improvements there along the ways of signage, boating safety, information and things of that nature. And so there's a motion. Is there a motion for that recommendation to the larger group?
Yeah, motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Going to that, we'll try to take advantage of everybody's time here again. That middle area, not necessarily where the parking lot is, but there's a tract of land now where the rocks are stored. The last time we talked about this was somewhere along the lines of some picnic tables, some area, where some signage about Lake Street, and just kind of clean it up, make it family and kid friendly. And then maybe think long term, maybe there's a gazebo there. We'd love to see what that looks like. Make some area where, if somebody wanted to play, a small band wanted to get together over there, that would make sense. And again, it could be something that, some plantings and different things to dress it up a little bit. So I think that it would be good to see what that looks like visually, if we were able to get those renderings, to see how we can, just dress that area up. I think it's, again, I don't think we need to overthink it, but we can make an immediate impact with just some light touches there, especially along the lines of, picnic tables and trash barrels and things of that nature.
It sounded like Al had said that, the design stuff that the students could work on and design. So maybe they could come up with a drawing, and then, even down the road, they could build the gazebo and the picnic table. So it might be nice to have them, give it a shot to, some drawings that we can show and see what people think, something.
Yeah, I think that's it. The purpose of today, in talking with Al, and I'm bummed out about the scheduling snafu, is that we just wanted to run this by the larger group one more time to take what we brainstormed about and to put the sort of the plan in motion, if you will. But
Right.
if you can communicate that to the larger group, that sort of frame it the way we are now, and ask Alan Old Colony to come up with some renderings of what it would look like with picnic tables and a gazebo and things like that nature. But the one thing I think we can say on all of the properties is that we want signage, right? And
Right.
To designate the old town beach and the South Pond, or we call it the pumping station. I think we call it the pumping station pond. We definitely want signage. So I think that would be an appropriate recommendation to Alan Old Colony. And I know, Tom Huff, who's a town resident, has done all of the signs in town. I don't know if you've seen most recently outside the fire station, but if you look around town, it's that uniformed maroon and gold. I think those would be nice signage in those areas there, and that's something that we could look into as well. And that's something I know, we've got the money set aside for, and that's something we can get moving. We can get moving on right away, actually.
Absolutely. I think it's a great idea. I think, I've lived in the town my whole life, and I wouldn't know what the ponds were called, or,
Right.
so I think, yeah, that'd be good.
Right. Okay. And I can get with Tom. I'll get a hold of Tom on that and see if we can, if he can come up with some designs, and then we can run that by the committee as well. So Amanda, if you can put that in the notes as a to-do item for me, an action item, that'd be great. Okay. And then prior to, I was talking with Scott, the next goal would be to have Solitude present at the next meeting on the 18th on the status of, to present their report on the water conditions and what a plan would look like moving forward. And then I think we could probably add on the ideas for the Old Town Beach and the across the street, what we're calling, I think it was the South Pond or the pumping station pond. And I think, I don't know, Brian, is there anything on your end? Again, I feel like we got to find our rhythm here, and we'll get there.
Right. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I had read the notes, I think we're all kind of on just regrouping and kind of reiterating some of the things we talked about. And, I think to your point, moving from brainstorm to which items can we make actionable, and begin the process with, I think the signage, creating the interest, cleaning it up, it makes a tremendous amount of sense. I think we're all heading in the right direction.
Okay, great. All right, Scott, anything else?
No, nothing new at this time.
Okay. Well, I think maybe we'll just try to, if you guys could log on at 7 just to see if anybody is on, or I can shoot an email. Maybe I'll just shoot an email to everybody and say, sorry for the scheduling snafu. The next meeting will be in 2 weeks. I just hate to tie up your evening. But I don't know, it's up to you, however you want to proceed.
Yeah, I mean, last time it was helpful, you could watch the recording. So I think, the fact that it's recorded, folks can go and, take a look at the recording. I don't think there was anything, again, it's all a reiteration of things that we've discussed. So, I certainly don't mind logging on at 7, but, I think if folks just watch the recording, that would probably be just as good.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure everybody feels like they're part of the process, but we're just going over the same stuff that we did last go around. All right. Well, I guess we'll have a motion to adjourn, and we'll meet the next time on the 18th. And I'll send out an email to the folks and just say that sorry for the scheduling snafu, and that our next meeting will be on March 18th at 6 p.m.
Makes sense. Sounds good.
Right.
Motion to adjourn.
Scott?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Great.